everyone, this is Heather Havenwood, and welcome to Like a Boss podcast, where we help you rise to the top. So my name is Heather Havenwood. I'm a national syndicated radio host. You can find me on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. I'm everywhere, right? So make sure you check me out, as well as like and share my show. Now, many of you know, on my show here, Like a Boss, I really focus on entrepreneurs that are supporting other entrepreneurs and just really prospering. And I'm super excited to introduce you to Rossum.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So Rossum is here in my studio. Usually you're listening to me where I am interviewing people where they are on the other side of the world or somewhere else. Rossum is actually here in my live studio. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live, you see us together, which is super cool.
Yes.
You're the first.
Awesome.
Seriously. So this is going to be kind of a fun interview. We have been talking all day. We've been working together all day. For 2 days, we've been at an event called Leveraged Influence Live, right, with Andrew O'Brien and Omari. I just kill his name every time. We were there for 2 long days talking about influencer marketing, and we just had some great conversations. And so I'm going to share with you who Ross is. Before we get started, though, I just really want to do a shout out to Andrew and Mari. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to call him O-Stud. I'm going to tell you O-Stud at Leverage Influence Live. It was a great event. It was a 2-day event. I highly suggest if you want to check them out, if you want to know about publicity and funnel marketing and really take your business next level, go check them out. They were awesome. Okay, let's try to jump in. I'll tell you a little bit who Ross is. So Ross is now as of tonight, because I launched his podcast tonight with him, the Modern Profits Podcast. So go check it out. It's going to be probably live in a couple of weeks. It's not live yet. We just did the episode 00 today. It's called the Modern Profits Podcast, the exclusive entrepreneur experience. Now, Ross has got a very interesting story he's going to be talking to you tonight, and he just got started in digital online marketing, 3 years ago?
About 2 years.
2? Okay. Yeah. Oh, 2. And he's already doing some fascinating things. And I really want to share a story tonight because I think that other people who just getting started or feel like they're behind or, oh my God, I can't do it. Everyone's got success behind them and there's just nothing else left out there. That's what they say to me all the time. No, now's the best time to get started. 2 years ago, 24 months is not that long. You basically just got started. So I think that's really important, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
So let's talk about some cool stuff you got going on.
Okay.
I'm invited to this thing called the Cruise, the Modern Profits Cruise, where I'm going to be speaking in a bikini. Just kidding. I don't know.
That's up to you. I mean, I don't do your wardrobe, so you get to pick whatever you want to wear.
Stilettos and a bikini.
Done.
Right?
Rock and roll.
I think people would show up. I mean, hopefully, right?
Of course they would.
So that's going to be happening a year from now. I'm going to go ahead and do a shout out now. Go ahead and share with them where they can get in the waiting list.
So you can sign up on the waiting list at modernprofitscruise.com. And we're actually going to be going live in just the next couple of weeks where you can actually start booking your cruise because you want to get that early bird discount. But yeah, modernprofitscruise.com to check it out and get on the wait list.
Yes, and see me in a bikini. And this is going to be an awesome event. And just so you know how ridiculous the prices are, it's going to be starting at 4 nights.
4 nights, yeah.
4 nights. And the price starts at what?
It's the price, which includes the event, conference, speakers, all the parties that we have every night. All your food, your cabin, everything is $709 a person for 4 nights on your vacation.
Dude, I don't think you can. You can't even go to
You can't stay home for.
I know.
4 days.
You can't go to Oklahoma City for that. All right, it's just. That's ridiculous. Out of Port Canaveral.
Yes, out of Port Canaveral. We'll be going to Nassau, Bahama, and the island of Coco Cay.
Yeah.
Which Royal Caribbean actually is currently, as we speak, renovating it with a $160 million renovation. It's going to be one of the nicest private island in the world. It looks like a complete luxury resort. Wow. Swim up bars, the largest slide in the world.
So we're going to stop there and hang out for a while.
A whole day on the island with.
That's badass.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm super excited.
We'll have a beach party out there. We'll have a good time and connect.
So I was at an event when I met him a couple months ago with Amanda Dake at a funnel event, and he was literally developing the cruise. And I was sharing with him earlier off, and I call it green screen. When I met him, I didn't know who he was. He just started digital marketing 24 months ago, and I thought, who is this douchebag thinking to himself that he could create a digital marketing cruise, and not know anybody? Well, I was wrong. Obviously, he can. It's been phenomenal. He's not a douchebag at all. He's super awesome. We've become dear friends since then. And that's what happens in digital marketing. You like meet people and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's awesome. So he's creating a cruise. We already have. Let's talk about who's going to be on the cruise.
So we have Amanda Dake, and she
Okay.
is a incredible funnel consultant and business strategist.
She's awesome.
She does a lot of amazing things with automation for your business and really helps people take their businesses to the next level.
Yeah.
So she is incredible. We have Cody Neer.
Mhm.
Cody Neer is one of the world's best e-commerce. He builds a website and everyone buys everything off that website. It's crazy that the things that he does online to drive traffic to these e-commerce websites and create customers and sales and stuff. Robert Raff, he is one of the world's leading email marketers. He does things with emails that you don't even know is possible.
Right. Sweet.
So he's going to teach us how we can implement some massive email marketing tricks into any business. So we have Stephanie Sands, and she is a small business marketing genius.
Nice.
So she takes small businesses to a whole new level with marketing strategies that you actually can implement into local businesses.
Sweet.
So who else do we have?
Andrew.
We have, yes, Andrew O'Brien. He's amazing with PR and media, and then how to just he gets you into PR, which is amazing in itself, but then how to utilize that to actually expand your influence and your awareness into the world. So he's amazing. We have Omari, marketing strategist. This is actually his strategy is really unique because a lot of people, they start off with, oh, how do I make an ad? How do I run an ad? How do I target? Omari's like, well, we're not there yet. He goes, we got to build a strategy first. So he takes you from concept to build out your entire strategy and everything before you even launch your first ad. So by the time you launch your ad, you're like a rocket ship.
Yeah. He's awesome. I have to give some cred out to him right now. When I met him almost 48 hours ago, I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. We kind of had that like, who are you thing going on if he's listening. And I walked into his office early morning on day 2 and I said, hey, you know, obviously I need to connect with you. You seem like a really cool guy. And on his desk is Joe Sugarman's Ad Week Copywriting Handbook. It's actually on my shelf right now. And I was like, what, Joe Sugarman? He's a forward of my book. Sexy Boss was written by pretty much Joe Sugarman. The title and the headline was written by Joe Sugarman. I always give him credit for that. And he wrote the forward of my book, Sexy Boss. If you don't know what that was, please go check me out on Amazon. But we connected on that level and copywriting, and we actually have a lot of the same circles. So I just love how we can connect and meet really badass people that way. And it was a lot of fun. All right, so this is about you. So I really want to share with people your story, because I think it's really important, and we have some similarities with that story about corporate America. So many people know my personal story, but I'll kind of wrap in a little box, and that is, I started in corporate America, and it was an outside sales B2B job, and I went from, I didn't know what I was doing, totally thrown to the wolves. I got $1,000 a month. I was ecstatic, and then I had a quota, and if I didn't make the quota, I was out, right? So I was there. No one was helping me. No one taught me how to sell. I didn't know what I was doing. And before that, actually enough, you probably don't know this, I did financial advising. I worked for American Express Financial Advisor, and I bombed. I didn't do very well either. I'd let him share his story. But the thing is for me, and I can share my story when you are, but I actually ended up being #1 in sales, and then they cut me, they fired me, cut me, fire me, basically took all of my accounts away, right? So I kind of want to share the little bit of framework there, because you have a very similar story. Yours just wasn't 4 years. Mine was only there for 4 years. Yours was 17 years.
Right.
And it really made an impact on where you're at today and why you're doing the cruise, why you do what you do. It's a really important piece. So let's get started. How did you, to start with, you're a wee young lad out of college.
So I double majored in college in finance and real estate.
Okay.
And then I went to, I became a financial advisor, got all my licenses, went to 22 years old, going to financial planning. I think I'm going to, make $1 million, take over the world.
Right.
And
I can sell you, right?
What's that?
They sell you on that thing, the insurance. I know they did what I did. Like, you're going to make $1 million. Tells you.
Oh, yeah. Everyone comes in thinking they're going to crush it.
You're like 22 years old, all young. You're talking to people in their 50s. They're like, what?
You can't have my money.
Exactly. You're like, what?
So, yeah, you come out. You don't, my network is broke, right? Because they're all 22 and out of college, and
Totally
they don't have any money. And then, even in that business, even if you're very knowledgeable and good at what you do, it doesn't matter. It's all about who you know, your connections, your network, and selling them. And I didn't have a network of the right people, and those people weren't given a 22-year-old their retirement plan to manage. It wasn't going to happen. So
ain't gonna happen, stud. So, you're cute and all, but ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. So for me, it just was one of those things. It didn't work for me. I tried. I worked hard for 2 years, and 2 years into it, I was 20 grand in debt in my credit cards. I walked in one day on a Friday, and I thought I was getting paid, but I actually got a negative $850 paycheck.
How is that even possible? Here's negative $850.
Well, you worked on 100% commissions. You had to pay rent for your cubicle. You had to pay for your faxes that you sent out. You had to pay 10 cents per copy on your copies, and everything that you did cost you money. And I,
that's a lot.
So I took my negative $850 check up to my boss, and I said, I gotta quit. Like, I don't want to, but I got to. Like, I have to get here. So
I owe y'all money, and that's not how this works, right?
I can't do this. So that's I left, and that kind of started a completely different branch of my life that I really wasn't expecting.
So you took your all your CF. Which licenses did you have?
Oh, I had a Series 6 life health annuities. I think I had a Series 63.
All that down the drain, right?
Yeah.
And what business did you get started in?
So one of my clients at the time that I had met through my mom, because my mom actually introduced me to him. She had been in the hair business her whole life and was phenomenal at it. But he reached out to me because I had to tell him, hey, I'm leaving, so I'm going to give you to this guy over here. He's now going to be your financial advisor. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I know what I'm going to do. And he's like, well, why don't you come work for me? We could use someone in Orlando. And I was like, nah, I don't really want to sell shampoo.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was a beauty supply distribution company. So at the time, and I got a double major in finance and real estate. I'm not going to be a shampoo salesman.
Right. Such ego we have when we're 23 or 24. Like, oh, that's so below me.
Yeah. So
I've been there. It's why I'm making fun of it, by the way.
I know. I'm sure, it happens, right? So I wanted something different, but I did end up taking the job. And I became a beauty supply sales rep.
Yeah, but you became badass in it.
Yeah. About 6 months in, I had, cracked the code. I was hustling. I visited 10 to 20 businesses a day, and I was making good money. And that's when it became my career. It was about 6 months into doing it. And I ended up doing it for about 17 years.
17 years. What I love about that is that you became a hustler. Mm-hmm. I think all entrepreneurs are hustlers. Ultimately, we're hustlers. We have to learn how to hustle. So even though you had a job, it felt like a job, you were pretty much creating your own business.
Yeah, I worked on 100% commission.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. At the beginning, they did start me off at $500 a week. But once it really only took me about 4 months before they flipped me to commission. And
nice.
So it was 100% commission.
And so let's kind of bring it down to, for myself, I was business to business sales and same type of thing. They gave me pretty much nothing and a big quota, and I had to figure it out. No one was really helping me at the time, and I figured it out. And then my last year I was there, I got a call one day from my boss. Similar kind of story. I'm going to let you tell your story, but similar kind of story. It was the into 2000, year 2000, and it was first quarter 2001. And I got a call from my boss, and I answered the phone, of course, because it was her. And she said, hey, I just came back from the corporate in Dallas, and I just want to let you know that the numbers came in from the year 2000. You're number one in the country out of like 10,000 reps, like people out of New York and LA and San Francisco. I was in a small market of Fort Worth, Texas. I was considered a small market. I was like blown away. I was so excited. And then she tells me, I don't think you deserve it. And then she hangs up. And I just completely lost it. And within a couple of months or maybe a month or two. She waited till I got my what I call my pat on the head because they flew me out to Arizona and I met the president and they gave me a dinner and the whole thing. I got like I was waiting for like a not like a Rolex or like some Cadillac like woo, yeah Caddy. I got nothing. I got like one of those stupid like plastic things and a pat on the head. And I came back from that and that's when I had the meeting. But I'll let you share your meeting, but first. But so what happened? 17 years in?
Yeah, so 17 years, and I had built up a remarkable business. It's really working with these clients for so long and helping teach them how to utilize it, grow their businesses, and then also working with some entrepreneurs and teaching them how to get into the business and and grow establishments and whatnot. So yeah, we had built it up to a huge territory in Orlando. And what's crazy is that we didn't even have internet. We had internet. We didn't have a website. We didn't have like internet sales. It was all face-to-face, everything that we did. So when we built that up. But one day I was at my sales meeting and, the sales meetings were at the warehouse. So we're in this tiny room. It's freezing cold. We always kept the AC down to like 49 degrees.
They never make those sales meetings like loving. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he said if it's freezing cold, you won't fall asleep. So that's...
Nice.
So anyway, we're in there, and at the end of the meeting, he was like, "Hey Ross, I need you to stay after the meeting." I'm like, "Sweet, sounds good to me." And I'm like all excited because I'm having like not only my best year ever, but like I'm hitting numbers that nobody has ever hit, really in the country, and I think possibly the world. So he pulls me in and he's like, I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hey man, you're having a great year." I go, "I know, it's great. We're crushing it." And because I was helping them build their business. I'm building my business. We're all working together. And then he's like, "Yeah, because you're gonna make a ton of money this year." And I go, "I know, it's awesome." He's like, "Yeah, we're not really about that." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not about that?" And at this point in time in my head, I'm like, shit, it's about to hit the fan. And I'm like, because I'm worked on 100% commission, no car allowance, no nothing. And he goes, "Yeah, you're just making too much money. So here's what's going to happen." And I'm like, "What's going to happen?" He's like, "Well, on all of your major accounts, you're now going to go from 10% commission to 5% commission.
So we're going to take half your commission."
Yeah. And then in addition to that, you no longer qualify for quarterly bonuses. Because you just don't need them, and they're too easy for you.
You don't need them.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need them.
Yeah.
What? I earned them. Need them. This is not about need. This is about earning. I can't stand that.
And then rule number 3 was I was no longer allowed to get new clients.
So you take away half my money, take away my bonuses, and then I'm not allowed to expand.
No. And then in addition to that, I can't expand, but they took away my bottom half of my clients, all my smaller clients, and gave them to the new girl. So now I don't even have the small clients to grow, and I can't get new ones.
So first of all, that sucks.
This is all happened within literally about a 3-minute conversation.
Okay, so I want to stop for a second because I don't know if people have ever asked you these questions, but I had something similar. So I walked into this meeting, a month or two after I got my pat on the head, and I had an assistant. He was a man, and he was older than me, and he had a kid and wife and the whole thing. And I'm like 25, right? And I sat down, and she said to me, "We're taking all your accounts away from you and give them to your assistant, Michael. But you still have your quota, and it's, by the way, like 2 weeks till the end of the month. And if you don't hit your quota, you're fired." And I'm like, "So I'm fired or what?" She's like, "No, you technically still have a job." And I'm like, "No, you're firing me." So it's kind of this, we're going to take everything away from you, but you still have to perform. And I remember people kept asking me, "Well, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why would they not enhance as a salesperson?" And that was the question I had. I don't know, but you and I talked about that privately, and you tell me what you said.
Well, there's a couple reasons I think they do it, because I found out after it happened to me, I started talking about it with people, and I found out like it happens more often, just like it happened to you. So one of the things, really, I'm really not 100%. It doesn't make sense psychology-wise, and if you look back at everything, it ends up hurting them in the future, anyways. But in their minds, if you're making 400
Right.
grand,
This is where, yeah.
I can fire you and hire 4 people for 200 grand, put all that money in my pocket, and then now I got 4 people, and those 4 people will sell more than you, is what they think.
Yes.
But that's not
the case.
Really reality.
That's what happened to me. So they took the counts, and because Michael's different pay structure and basically dropped to the bottom, right, just because I had grown up, then you know, they basically cut their costs almost 3/4.
Yeah.
You know, commission wise, they put all that money back in the bottom overnight.
Or overnight. Or that's the other thing. Or they can maybe not hire 4 people, but bring in someone else who didn't build the territory.
Correct.
Hand them.
They did. They just handed him the entire business. Here you go. Here's.
And you're gonna make X, and they just say you make X.
Right. That's what.
And it doesn't matter what the sales are. So then now their expenses go down. So that's another thing. The other thing I think too is they might think you have too much, when you make that much money, you have too much power or something over the company. I don't know. Like psychology wise, if you look at it in the long run,
it makes no sense.
It kills
because we're entrepreneurs, and if I have someone on my team that's making me money,
right,
I'm happy. Why the heck would I say, oh no, you shouldn't? I mean, that makes zero psychology as entrepreneurs. Because the more money we make, then everyone is like, we can spread the love.
It should be a win-win for everybody.
Right. So I think it's a weird psychology completely. I think it's ridiculous, whatever said. But here's what happened to me that's similar to you. I remember when after I left the company, mine was quite soon after that because they were kind of kicking me out in a way. They were pretty obvious they were kicking me out. I remember my dearest friend said to me, said, Heather, now you have all this sales experience, just go get another job. And I'm like, no. I made a decision that day. I will not build someone else's business again. Like, it was so decisive. And my friend was like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm not going to build someone else's business again. I'm going to build my business or a business, right? So you something similar to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it was kind of a similar thing. I really was speechless in the moment of this conversation. And I didn't even have it come back. I was just devastated, astonished, but I was like, wow. And it made me think back to when I was a child, actually. And my dad had said something to me, and he said it to me repeatedly through my childhood. He'd said, Ross, if you want to make it in this world, you got to own your own business. And I'm like, okay, Dad, sounds good.
Yeah. I'm like 8.
Went about my thing.
Toy.
But he said it to me like all the time. You got to own your own business. And
so
my dad,
true.
He worked super hard. He was a great salesman, and he provided for us, and he was a phenomenal father. But I think that's why he kept reminding me. And I was like, this is what he meant. Because when I started to become successful in my sales career, I was like, no, I'm fine being a salesperson. Like, I'm doing great. I love my job. I'm growing my business. I'm making good money. I'm good with it. But then when it gets that rug gets yanked out from underneath you, in 2 minutes, 3-minute conversation, and you're like, wow, there went my world.
Yeah, like over. I know, I get it.
And it wasn't that I messed up or I did anything wrong. It's that I did everything right. So I was like,
hold on a second. This is really powerful because I had the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. They gave me a carrot to get. I got the carrot.
And then you got punished for it.
And then I got punished for it, right? It's one of these like, go win the Super Bowl. Okay, I won the Super Bowl, and then I'm getting slapped in the face. And it was kind of this like my whole psychology, what I was taught, go
win the Super Bowl, then we're going to put you on third string.
Right. And it really messed with my psychology for like a while. Luckily, I had money in the bank, and I took some time off, and I kind of just puttered around for like 6 months. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but it really messed with my psychology. Like, how did I just get punished from my own boss who I make her look good when I make her money. I made the company money. I'm getting my pat on the head. It
really makes no sense.
It literally screwed me up for a long time because I'm such just like an entrepreneur at heart, right? Mm-hmm. But no one taught me that. But in that structure, I was being an intra-entrepreneur, and you were too. You had the structure, and they gave this opportunity to be an intra-entrepreneur, know, and then you won the carrot, and you're getting like punched in the face about it. It just irritates me. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, so it's so basically that was the moment I was like, this is what my dad meant, and it dawned on me that he never told me, but it made me think that I bet this happened to him too, and that's why he kept telling me, you got to be your own boss, you got to own your own business, you got to do this. So it kind of made me think at that moment, I was like, okay, this is the day I decided to change my life.
Yeah.
And I started making an exit strategy. I started studying. I started going to conferences. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew I needed to do something. So I started just training myself and researching and looking out there and taking courses and going to conferences and meeting people and doing all these things so that I could find out what my next path was and where it was going to go.
And that was only how many years ago?
It was about 5 years ago that they actually made those cut my pay in half, basically, and probably about 2 years ago that I actually jumped ship and left.
And now you're creating your own entrepreneurial cruise. That's just crazy. It's so awesome at the same time. It's superly awesome, by the way. I do love it. I just love your story because it just shows how entrepreneurs overcome. You know, you could have said martyr me and poor me and just take it and just been like, well, I guess I just have, just, you know, kind of thing. Or you stepped up. And I like, you know, I think probably what happened to your dad, we don't know, right? Just like he'd share that with you, but he probably had something similar. And because he had family or whatnot obligations, he just had to take it, you know? And I think that's really that's powerful for you, your story. So I feel like, to me, is kind of how I'm connecting it, and I was sharing with you earlier, is that why now you're creating the cruise, and why you've created. By the way, he's created all these cool parties too. Like, I'm going to the New Year's parties. I mean, 5,000 of my bestie friends in New Year's. I'm super excited going to Orlando for your party, your New Year's Eve party. But why you're creating that is because you're creating the atmosphere, the connections, the resources, the support that entrepreneurs really need, because it's a lonely life to continue to actually get that support. And I know that kind of similar and different. But Andrew O'Brien, we went to the event this weekend,
right?
And he's got a really powerful story about suicide, and how now he's created his vet community, Vetpreneur, which is really about vets, veterans, and entrepreneurship together, and how he really wants to help veterans create their own businesses, and how he wants to create that support and community, those resources, really because he wants them to succeed and thrive. That's what he's doing, to overcome their own personal stuff going on. You're doing the same thing. You know, you're doing the same thing, obviously not for the vets, but just for entrepreneurs to create those resources and friendships to continue something your father never had. Something your father probably never had access to. It's probably something your father didn't even know existed, or maybe it didn't even exist.
It didn't probably exist.
So you're creating that. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole idea is just I know that in my journey that everyone that's speaking on my boat has actually impacted my journey, right?
Yeah.
So I know that I have a tendency to be this extrovert and outgoing, and I go meet people. That's what I do. You know, I was a cheerleader through high school and college, so I'm always the one that's like, you know, getting everyone together. That's just what I do. But I know that not everyone else has that same ability, or you know, they might. I'm not
very good at it.
They might be more introverted than me. So what I want to do is, especially when you're talking about the entrepreneur world and the digital world, they're behind their laptops all day. We're so introverted. Not out there. So my whole thing is, even when they go to a conference, they're learning. And then when the conference is over, they're going back and they're on their laptop right away, implementing everything. So what I want to do is pull all these people together. And I know that when I get these 400 entrepreneurs on a cruise together for 4 nights, 4 days, 5 days, I know that they are going to, and I'm going to create events like they haven't been to before. I know that they're going to love these experiences, because I really want them connecting as friends, building relationships. So when they get off that boat, they don't have 100 business cards. They have 100 friends, right? Or 200, 300, 400 friends.
Is it going to be toga parties? I'm making that up. Is there toga party?
No, probably won't be a toga party. Might be a toga party. I will tell you the themes later.
Okay.
But yeah, I do each night we'll have a party. It will be a themed party, and it'll be a ton of fun. But the whole idea is that I know that the people that I have met along this journey that are actually speaking on this boat are the people that, when I get stuck, I call them and they're like, yeah, just do this. I'm like, sweet. That was awesome. And so I know they've helped me. And I know that if other people have the opportunity to meet like-minded people who have a different superpower, and we can share all our superpowers together.
So awesome.
The things that we can accomplish will be unbelievable.
I mean, that's what we talked about at the event. Is like we'd ask people like, "What's your superpower?" You know, I have a superpower. You have a superpower, and Manda, who we talk to a lot, has a superpower. She's going to be there. Amanda Dake, ClickFunnels, amazing. We just call her and we ask her one question. She's like, blah, 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 right? Yep. She just knows off the top of her head. You have email marketing coming, myself as podcast influence. You have Andrew PR and Armani. So
Arnie from Facebook groups, Dan Rivas. Yep.
So some really badass people. It really says a lot about you to be able to bring that kind of community together so fast. I'd love to say that I'm a connector that way. I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Don't see myself. I just get to hang out with the party people. So like, just make sure I'm invited on the invite list, and I will show up. So I'm super excited about that. Okay. Well, let's talk about where they can find you, where they can get on the wait list, where they can say, oh my gosh, it's awesome. And you have a group too. So let's just go talk about that.
Yeah. So we have a Facebook group. It's called Modern Profits for Entrepreneurs. So if you search that in the little Facebook search bar, you can find our group and join our group. Again, that's Modern Profits for Entrepreneurs. And then you also can pre-sign up for the cruise right now. And then once we launch, you'll be able to book the cruise through the website and get all the details. If you get on the wait list right now, the second it goes live, you'll get an email notification. And you can jump on board and get the early bird pricing, because the early bird pricing is ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, it's super cheap. You're gonna want to jump on it, but that is going to be at modernprofitscruise.com.
He's connected.
Yep.
Connected.
We hooked up a great deal.
Yeah, and if you're in Orlando for New Year's, I will be there with 5,000 other people at your block party, because he has block parties. Like, that's the kind of guy Rossum is. Like, he just has block parties with 5,000 of his friends on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that would be the Thornton Park street party.
So I used to live in Thornton Park, which is super weird. I used to live there. So I'm going back there for New Year's Eve. All right. So one more time, your website.
modernprofitscruise.com.
Awesome. And also his website, his new podcast is going to be launching, that I'm helping him launch, because that's what I do, is help people launch their podcasts. I help them launch their message in the world. So go check it out, Modern Profits. You can also find his podcast soon, not yet, on iTunes and Google Play. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. It's
been
awesome.
His name is Rossum.
Yeah.
Welcome, Rossum is awesome. I just love that name. All right, everyone, this is Heather Havenwood. Check us out at heatherhavenwood.com.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.